Hey love bugs, welcome back to another Tarot Lover Reviews. Today we are taking a look at the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot. So if you've heard of this tarot deck or you did not know this tarot deck even existed, hopefully this review and the flip through that comes after helps you to decide on whether or not this tarot deck is right for you. Now, if you want to skip straight to the flip through, feel free to take a look at my description. I break all of the suits out into chapters to make it easier for you to locate where you want to start. But in the meantime, we are going to talk about the packaging of this tarot deck, the guidebook, and the cards. So if you are interested in finding out all that awesome information, feel free to stick around. If not, feel free to fast forward to the flip through. But first things first, we are going to talk about the packaging. So this is what the front looks like. And the publisher of this tarot deck is US Games. So you can definitely find this tarot deck on their website. Now the box opens like so, and it is a thick box, which is fantastic because just in case you accidentally drop your tarot cards that are inside the box accidentally to the floor, you know the box is going to take the brunt of the force and your cards will stay protected. So that's what I appreciate. Also, you do have the string, the ribbon, to help take your tarot cards out of the box. Sometimes I don't necessarily use the ribbon. I'll just kind of go like this and kind of get them out that way. But whatever works for you, right? So that is the box. Absolutely love the feel of this box as well. It's very well put together and very elegant by just looking at the imagery of the box. It starts things off on the right foot. Anyways, let's talk about the guidebook. Now, the guidebook is absolutely gorgeous. It is a hardcover book, US Games there. I do have a couple of other tarot decks that have hardcover guidebooks, but never of this size, of this thickness. So this is a really good sized guidebook. Now, in regards to what is within the guidebook, you do have tarot spreads. They're not themed, which is totally fine. It's not a requirement that they are themed, but you at least have tarot spreads at the end of the book. You have a beautiful illustration of the creator and author of this guidebook. But then let's talk about the imagery within the guidebook. So you do have color of each of the cards. So each of the cards are in color. That's what I'm trying to say. And then you have a very lengthy description of each of those cards. Now, the reason why it's that way and there isn't any keywords is because literally these are like notes from the artist. And they're explaining where they got their inspiration from, what inspired them to draw that particular card the way that they drew it. You know what I mean? So the way that the book is written out is very relatable and understanding. Like, I totally understand where they were coming from when they, created this particular card, this particular imagery. So very relatable guidebook, which definitely helps when you're trying to understand your tarot cards. So that is the guidebook. Now let's talk about the cards. So first things first, we're going to talk about the back. So this is what the backs of the cards look like. You have that gold shiny, oh, I love the back. I love that worn out vintage background. I don't know, it gives it that extra something. It's elegant, it's simple. The simplicity of the cards, the simplicity of the imagery is beautiful. So it's just like it's setting up the overall vibe of how the cards will read for you, if that makes sense. So that is what the backs look like. Standard tarot card size, okay? Cardstock. Cardstock, I would say is a little bit on the thinner side than the Goldilocks zone. So if you don't know what I mean by Goldilocks zone, I mean that as it makes for a great shuffle. This deck still makes for a great shuffle, but when, and I mean this from a point of, if you were to shuffle your cards in a poker style, right? Y'all didn't see that. I'm going to keep that in this video, dang it. But you know what I mean. So, these still make for a great shuffle, as you saw me demonstrate. But it's a little bit on the thinner side. So the cards tend to bend a lot more than I would like them to bend, because I feel like it'll make it easier for these cards to stay bent and stay warped, because, you know, people can shuffle like that a lot. And with wear and tear, that's what you're going to end up getting with these cards, is that warp look to each of the cards because you bend it so much. Now, I'm not saying that you have to shuffle your tarot cards the way that I shuffled, because that's going to get messy, but I'm not saying anybody has to shuffle that poker style bridge shuffle. There are a ton of different ways that you can shuffle your deck. I know a lot of people like to just shuffle their cards like this, which is something that I like to do as well. I like to adjust the way that I shuffle my cards based off of the card stock, because I like to try to keep my cards in the best shape possible. I know with wear and tear, it's an inevitable, but I like to try to keep my cards as well kept as possible. So with the card stock, it is a little bit on the thinner side, but it's not like super thin. So if you need like a visual of what I'm talking about, I do the C scale in a lot of my videos to kind of give you a visual of what I'm trying to say. So you have paper-like cardstock, where it's like thin, paper thin cardstock, and then you have really thick cardstock to where you cannot bend them to do that poker shuffle, right? And there are cards out there that are like that, ladies and gents. Yes. So, and then you got the Goldilocks zone, right? The really good shuffle, the perfect shuffle. So starting from that perfect shuffle, I would say it's a little bit into the thinner side. Not too much, but it is still on the thinner side. There is a lot of flexibility. I know some people out there like the flexibility in their cards. It makes it easier to handle, but I do like that little bit of thickness to my cards, because I know they'll last the test of time. So that is the card stock. That's the cards. Okay, let's talk about the imagery. The imagery is gorgeous. So with the major arcana, let's start with the naming convention before we get into the imagery. So naming convention, when I talk about that, I am comparing it to the Rider-Waite-Smith naming convention. So all of the names of the cards, the suits, that's what I'm basing it off of, is the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. So with that in mind, I'm trying to make sure that I don't fully, okay, so yeah, I just wanted to make sure. So major arcana. Major arcana is named the exact same way as the Rider-Waite-Smith, and all of the names are down there at the bottom of each of the cards for the majors, which is perfect. For the minor arcana, they follow the same naming convention with the exception of Pentacles. So Pentacles in this particular deck is coins. So that's what you will find as far as the difference. But everything else, cups, wands, swords, are exactly the same. So that is the naming convention. Let's talk about the imagery now. Last but not least, the imagery is absolutely gorgeous. And you can see it. There's so much simplicity within this deck. It's beautiful. It gives just enough, like I was showing you with the coins, it gives you just enough a pop of color, but it just being that black and white, is good enough. It's so pretty, but that pop of color just gives it so much more to it. It is just, do I have that the right way? Yes, I do. Just that pop of color is enough. And you can see the art background that this creator has, because you see it in each of the cards. It is just, the cups. I love that blue. So coins has this orange color. You have the swords that have the red color. You have the cups that have the blue color. And then, let me find you wands. Wands has a green color. So I love that. I just absolutely love that. The imagery is so relatable. This is a queer-friendly tarot deck, and I love that as well. The imagery on there is definitely queer-friendly, and I cannot stop talking about it. When you look through the flip through, just know that it does not do it justice when you actually have the cards in your hands. It just does not do it justice at all. So if just looking at the flip through helps you just a little bit to tell you you need it, you probably need it times 10. I'm just saying. There's a couple of things I did not mention when we were talking about the cards before we got into the imagery, was the sides of the cards. It is gold edging, absolutely gorgeous. That baby shines. I love that. And I mean, I've used this quite a few times, and the shine has not, it hasn't rubbed off, which is great, because I know some tarot decks out there that have a different color edging. The more you use it, you find it on your fingers. So this tarot deck, I don't get that with this. So keep that in mind as well. And even when I tend to shuffle this way, I do tend to like jab the edges, and so far the edges still look great. So this is probably one of those tarot decks where I will choose to, you know, switch between, you know, shuffling this way, or shuffling like the bridge shuffle that I did a horrible job at doing before. So that's that. And then the texture on top of it being a little bit thinner. This is linen. Okay, linen textured cards. If you do not know what that means, it's literally what it sounds like. If you were to look at linen, if you were to look at a bed sheet, and you know how you see all the threads woven into each other, that's kind of the feel that you get with linen cards. So the texture, you feel the texture in here, and I like that. I didn't realize that I would like linen cards as much as I do, or as much as I would, but I do. I absolutely love linen cards. I love the texture. I love the feel of them within my hands as I shuffle. It just adds to the experience, in my opinion. It's not, I will say it's not super textured, but you still feel it when you hold the cards. So yeah, that is all the little tidbits I wanted to share with you. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to like and take a look at my channel. See if there are any other tarot decks that I've done reviews on that you might be interested in. But if you don't see a tarot deck in my videos that you would like me to review, be sure to comment below and let me know so I can check it out. And you never know, I might have the tarot deck already and I just haven't done the review on it yet. So let me know. But without further ado, here is the flip through, and enjoy. Bye, guys.